There are foods that do not appear in supermarkets all year. They are not mass-produced. They are not part of the daily meals of the majority. Yet, whenever their season arrives, people are willing to go deep into the forest, accept certain risks, simply to find them during a few short weeks. Morel mushrooms are one of them. Morels do not attract attention because of bright colors or large size. What makes them special lies elsewhere. Their unusual honeycomb shape, their deep, rich flavor that is difficult to mistake for anything else, and more importantly, the feeling that this is a gift that nature offers only to those who are patient and understand the rhythm of the seasons. In the modern world, where food is mass-produced and tightly controlled, morels move in the opposite direction. They are not easily domesticated. They do not appear according to human demand. The rarity of morels is not a marketing strategy, but the result of a complex relationship between fungi, forest, soil, and weather. Because of this, morels have long moved beyond the role of an ordinary cooking ingredient. They appear in fine dining, in meals prepared slowly and deliberately, in the appreciation of original and natural flavors. Yet behind that rarity is not only a culinary story. Morels also carry a long history, a noteworthy nutritional structure, and very specific reasons why humans have remained connected to them across generations. To understand why such a small mushroom is sought after so intensely, we must begin by identifying it properly. Morel mushrooms, also known in some regions as sponge mushrooms, are wild fungi with a very recognizable appearance. Instead of the smooth surface seen in many familiar mushrooms, morels have a hollow structure with deep, interconnected pits that resemble a miniature honeycomb. This structure creates a distinctive texture when cooked, allowing morels to retain their rich flavor and firm flesh without becoming soft or watery. Morels are not a common ingredient in everyday meals. They are not widely cultivated, they do not appear reliably throughout the year, and they are rarely sold at low prices. The value of morels comes from the combination of rarity, flavor, and the unpredictable nature of their habitat. Every morel season is short. Some years bring abundant harvests, other years yield almost nothing. This unpredictability makes morels a food closely tied to timing, experience, and knowledge of nature. In cuisine, morels are highly valued for their deep flavor and distinct forest aroma, very different from mushrooms grown in controlled environments. When cooked, morels require very little seasoning. Their natural taste alone is enough to create depth in a dish. This is why they often appear in high-end cuisine, where chefs prioritize ingredients over complex techniques. Yet morels are not important only because they taste good. What makes them even more interesting is this. Despite not being common and not easy to access, morels have remained present in the culinary history of many regions around the world. That presence suggests that humans did not choose morels randomly. To understand why, we need to look back at where they first appeared and the journey they have taken alongside humans over time. The earliest traces of morel mushrooms are not linked to agriculture or written records, but to forests. Long before humans practiced organized farming, morels already appeared in gathering cultures in temperate regions where dense forests, moist soil, and late-arriving springs created suitable conditions. Modern genetic research suggests that morels may have originated in North America and later spread across the northern hemisphere through natural ecological corridors. As humans moved, hunted, and settled, morels traveled with them, not through cultivated seeds but through recognition. Early people learned to remember the seasons, the soil, and the forests where morels had once appeared. This knowledge was rarely written down but passed orally through generations. In many communities, searching for morels at the beginning of spring was not only about finding food but also part of a seasonal rhythm connected to the forest. Over time, morels were documented in many different regions. From North America they appeared across Europe, particularly in temperate forest areas. In Turkey and in regions along the Himalayan range, morels became highly valued mushrooms, often harvested during a short season and then dried for later use. In China, Morels also appeared in traditional culinary practices, not as a miraculous medicine, but as a nourishing seasonal food. What stands out is that despite this wide distribution, morels never became a mass crop. They were not associated with fields or large farms. Morels remained tied to mature forests and to areas where the soil had experienced natural disturbance. In many places, morels are known to appear after forest fires, as if taking advantage of the ecological transition that follows. This characteristic has made them a quiet symbol of renewal, subtle but persistent. In culinary history, morels were not originally foods of luxury. They were foods for people who understood forests. Only later, as societies developed and the distance between humans and nature increased, did morels gradually become rare ingredients that were sought after and highly valued. This shift did not come from the mushroom itself, but from the way humans began to live. The continued presence of morels in many cultures suggests something important. Humans recognized their value very early and preserved that connection through generations, not by completely controlling or domesticating them, but by respecting their natural patterns. That relationship has shaped the way morels exist today, as a food that feels both ancient and unfamiliar in modern life. Unlike many familiar foods today, morel mushrooms are not the result of a long process of domestication. Humans have tried to intervene with morels, but they have never fully controlled them. While wheat, corn, and many cultivated mushrooms have been selectively bred, reproduced, and integrated into stable farming systems, morels have maintained a certain distance from human control. Morels grow under very specific conditions. They usually appear in early spring when the soil is still moist after winter. The temperature becomes moderately warm, and forest ecosystems enter a transitional phase. Many observations show that morels tend to grow near the roots of hardwood trees such as oak or ash, or in areas where forests have recently burned. These environments provide a rare combination of minerals, microorganisms, and soil structure that morels require. If even one element is missing, the mushrooms simply do not appear. For decades, humans have attempted to bring morels out of the forest and into farms. Research on cultivating morels under artificial conditions has achieved some early results, but production remains unstable and difficult to reproduce consistently. Unlike common cultivated mushrooms, morels depend heavily on complex relationships with surrounding ecosystems, including trees and soil microbiology. When these relationships are disrupted, morels fail to develop properly. Because of this, most morels are still harvested from the wild today. Foraging for morels requires experience, patience, and knowledge of forest environments. Foragers do not simply search for mushrooms. They read the signals of soil, trees, and weather. This process is not industrial, but an interaction between humans and ecosystems. The limited human intervention has unintentionally preserved a unique place for morels in the world of food. They never became a mass commodity and were never heavily modified in form or flavor. Morels today remain remarkably close to the morels that existed centuries ago. In an era when food is increasingly standardized, this makes morels a rare reminder that not all value comes from control. Some values endure precisely because they cannot be forced to follow human demands. If morels were viewed only as a rare culinary ingredient, their story would end with flavor. But the reason humans have maintained a long relationship with them also lies in their nutritional structure. Morels are mushrooms with a high density of micronutrients while remaining very low in calories. This combination makes them noteworthy from the perspective of modern nutritional science. One of the most remarkable aspects of morels is their iron content. In 100 grams of fresh morels, they can provide about 12.2 milligrams of iron, which is close to 70% of the daily requirement for an adult. Iron is an essential mineral involved in the formation of hemoglobin, the component responsible for transporting oxygen in the blood. When the body lacks iron, fatigue, dizziness, and reduced concentration often occur. What is particularly interesting is that morels do not only provide iron but are also rich in copper. Copper plays a direct role in iron metabolism, helping the body use this mineral more efficiently. The natural combination of iron and copper in morels shows that their nutritional structure is not isolated but mutually supportive. Morels are also one of the relatively few natural foods that contain a notable amount of vitamin D. Vitamin D plays an important role in regulating the absorption of calcium and phosphorus, which directly affects bone health. In a time when many people spend less time exposed to sunlight, dietary sources of vitamin D are becoming increasingly important. Morels are not the only source, but they are a rare one that originates entirely from nature without artificial fortification. In addition, morels contain many B vitamins, particularly B2, B3, B5, and B6. These vitamins participate in cellular energy metabolism. In other words, they help the body convert food into usable energy. When B vitamins are lacking, the body may still consume enough food, yet feelings of fatigue and low vitality can persist. The presence of multiple B vitamins in morels helps explain why these mushrooms are often valued in diets that aim to maintain stable energy levels. Beyond major vitamins and minerals, morels also provide several trace elements such as manganese, zinc, potassium, and phosphorus. Zinc is associated with immune function and cellular repair. Manganese participates in antioxidant enzyme activity. Potassium contributes to blood pressure regulation and electrolyte balance. Phosphorus is a structural component of bones and teeth. Each of these minerals alone may not appear dramatic, but when combined in a low-calorie food, they create a balanced and efficient nutritional profile. From an energy perspective, morels are very light. 100 grams of fresh mushrooms contain only about 31 calories. At the same time, they provide fiber and plant-based protein in meaningful amounts relative to their low-calorie content. Fiber supports digestion and helps prolong the feeling of fullness. Plant protein contributes to building and maintaining body tissues, particularly important for individuals reducing meat consumption. The most important point when examining the nutrition of morels is not a single number but the way nutrients are organized. Morels are not excessive in energy. They do not focus on one dominant compound. Instead, they provide many essential micronutrients within a very low-calorie framework. This characteristic aligns well with modern nutritional needs, where people often need to eat less while still obtaining the nutrients the body truly requires. From this nutritional structure, it becomes clear that morels are not valued only because they are rare. They remain part of human diets because the body genuinely benefits from them. And when those nutrients move beyond theory into daily life, their effects become more visible. When the nutrients in morels move beyond theory and into everyday life, the value of this mushroom becomes clearer. Morels do not create instant dramatic effects or the kind of impact that is immediately noticeable after eating. Instead, they support the body in a steady and subtle way that fits long-term health. For the immune system, morels provide a fairly comprehensive nutritional foundation. Their zinc content, along with natural antioxidant compounds, helps the body maintain defense mechanisms against harmful environmental factors. These antioxidants do not work alone but assist cells in reducing oxidative stress that accumulates over time. For people who frequently experience mental stress, heavy workloads, or limited rest, this type of support acts more as prevention than treatment. For circulation and blood formation, the combination of iron and copper in morels plays a meaningful role. Iron contributes to the formation of hemoglobin, while copper helps the body use iron more effectively. When these two minerals appear together in the diet, the risk of anemia related to poor iron absorption can be reduced. This can be particularly helpful for people who consume little meat, older adults, or individuals who often feel unexplained fatigue. Morels also contribute to anti-inflammatory processes and to slowing cellular aging. Biological compounds such as polysaccharides and phenolics found in mushrooms participate in regulating inflammatory responses. helping the body avoid prolonged chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is a foundational factor associated with many modern health concerns, ranging from digestive issues to the gradual decline of organ function with age. Although morels are not a single solution, they can be part of a diet that supports long-term balance. For bone health, morels offer a benefit that is relatively uncommon among plant-based foods. The natural vitamin D present in morels supports the absorption of calcium and phosphorus, the minerals that form the structural framework of bones. For individuals who receive little sunlight, or for older adults, obtaining vitamin D through food can help maintain bone density over time. Finally, morels fit well into diets that require controlling calorie intake without sacrificing nutrition. With low calories but still providing fiber and plant protein, morels can appear in light meals, evening meals, or dietary patterns focused on simplicity and easy digestion. They do not make the body feel heavy yet still provide enough nutrients to support normal activity. Overall, the benefits of morels do not lie in a single standout function. They lie in the ability to support multiple systems in the body simultaneously at a moderate and stable level. This is exactly the type of food that fits real life, where health is not built through extreme solutions but through small choices repeated consistently over time. Morels are mushrooms of high value, but they also require careful handling. Unlike many cultivated mushrooms that can be prepared easily, morels must be processed properly to ensure safety and preserve their full flavor. The most important rule to remember is that morels must never be eaten raw. In their fresh state, morels contain small amounts of natural toxins that can irritate the digestive system and lead to stomach discomfort. These toxins, however, are not heat-stable. When morels are thoroughly cooked, the harmful compounds are completely removed. For this reason, morels are always recommended to be prepared using heat-based methods such as sautéing, pan-searing, stewing, or cooking in broth. In cooking, morels do not require heavy seasoning. Their natural flavor is deep enough to provide character to a dish. Many people choose to sauté morels with a small amount of fat such as butter or olive oil to allow their aroma to develop while also helping the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Morels can also be combined with meats, eggs, or simple vegetable dishes where they serve as a flavor-enhancing element rather than overpowering other ingredients. Another common form of use is dried morels. When properly dried, morels can be stored for long periods while retaining most of their nutritional value. Before use, dried morels should be soaked in water to rehydrate and then cooked just like fresh morels. The soaking liquid often carries a rich aroma and can be used in soups or sauces. In terms of quantity, morels do not need to be consumed in large amounts. They are best used in moderate portions as a highlight in a meal rather than the main component. This balance allows the body to benefit from their nutrients while avoiding unnecessary strain on digestion. Understanding and respecting the correct way to use morels is also part of maintaining the long relationship humans have had with this mushroom. It is not rushed or excessive but approached as a seasonal gift used at the right time and in the right way. In the modern world where food is increasingly standardized and produced at large scale, morels still hold a very unique position. They do not appear all year, they are not easily accessible, and they are not created for convenience. Precisely because of this, morels have become a small symbol of the remaining connection between humans and nature. The journey of morels from damp spring forests to today's dining tables shows that the value of a food does not lie in how common it is, but in how humans understand and appreciate it. Morels have been preserved across generations not because they are easy to cultivate or easy to sell, but because the human body genuinely benefits from their nutritional structure, rich in micronutrients, light in energy, and subtle enough to support health in a steady way. Looking back, morels remind us that not every healthy choice needs to be loud or extreme. Sometimes it is simply about returning to seasonal foods used properly with a modest understanding. In a fast-paced world filled with countless options, morels represent a slower, more balanced, and more natural approach to nourishment. If the opportunity arises, bringing morels into a meal is not only an experience of a distinctive flavor, but also a way to reconnect with a long human tradition of selecting foods thoughtfully. Like many enduring values, morels do not need to be displayed loudly. They only need to be understood. Thank you for following the journey of morels with food knowledge. If you found this content helpful, you can share your thoughts or continue exploring other stories about food and nutrition in the next videos.